Inside the stories that affect you. This is Inside KELOLAND.
I'm Casey Wannenberg. Thanks for joining us. Tonight on Inside KELOLAND, we're getting ready for back to school. An elementary curriculum coordinator from the Sioux Falls School District will join us to talk about heading back to school. Also tonight, we're looking at the future of South Dakota with an architect. A group launched a new blog called Blueprint South Dakota, looking to elevate design across the state. What could the future hold? We'll find out. Plus, the South Dakota Parkinson Foundation is here to talk about its Step Big Walk for Parkinson's next weekend. Well, believe it or not, there's less than a week until kids in the Sioux Falls School District head back to the classroom. So if you haven't shopped yet for the supplies, the clock is ticking. Back to school spending is expected to reach $27.6 billion in the U.S. this year. That's an average of $510 per household, an increase of $9 from last year. The survey also shows children will likely influence their parents into more than $21 billion of those purchases, from clothes and electronics to school supplies. About 2/3 of those shoppers hit the stores before August, but the other third leaves it until the last minute. KELOLAND's Claire Lavazorio caught up with a mom in that very situation. Hear her plan now that it's crunch time.
In just 1 week, Mom Vanessa Smith will be dropping off her daughter Joviana for the first day of 2nd grade.
Summer has flown by. We've had a lot going on with family vacation and different things between my work and my husband's work.
With 1 week left of summer, Smith says there's still a lot to do.
So we need to go through supplies that we have left over from last year, and then we will be shopping. We need to get some things for 2nd grade.
Still left to do on many parents' lists, shop for school supplies.
Everybody's looking for the inexpensive crayons and markers and pencils and tablets and notebooks, and Lewis is really pretty well stocked on all of that stuff.
Lewis store manager Randy Cini says while big box stores are running out of supplies, places like Lewis are restocking daily.
Thankfully, Lewis has their warehouse right here in Sioux Falls, so we can get deliveries almost every day through our own warehouse right here.
Cini expects many parents to be in the same spot as Smith, with last-minute shopping or even waiting until after the first day.
I think people are still going to be looking for a few things that they're going to need after school starts.
Smith is planning a shopping trip with her daughter to spend one final day together.
It's fun to go together, kind of make a before school date of sorts, and so get new tennis shoes, get school supplies.
Before it's back to the classroom.
I always love all those pictures people post of their kids getting back to school.
Exactly.
That was KELOLAND's Claire Lavazorio reporting. And with school supplies checked off the list, let's see what else needs to get done. Joining me now is Sue Macadera, the elementary curriculum coordinator for the Sioux Falls School District. Thanks for joining us, Sue.
Nice to be here.
Well, let's talk first about establishing routines. There's around a week until school starts. What should parents be doing right now?
Yes, school starts a week from today, actually. So the most important thing, I think, is just like you said, establishing a routine. We've maybe let bedtime slide a little bit, particularly for the younger students. And maybe we want to start getting up a little earlier, going to bed a little earlier for those kids. Maybe just getting back into reading some books if we've taken a little break from that. And just those kinds of things that we do during the school year is helpful to start now.
So let's say your kid has been sleeping in until 8 and they have to get up at 6. So those 2 hours, do you have to do that incrementally, or how do you recommend doing that?
Well, and speaking as a mom in this case, it was just incrementally, because that 2 hours just bang, that's not going to work very well. But yeah, incrementally works really well, and it no matter what we do, kids will be tired. The first couple of weeks of school, they're exhausted when they come home because they're just not used to that focus and that high energy all day. So, and that's okay. Teachers expect that, and they compensate for that.
And there are some school districts who have already actually started around here.
Yes.
So what do you say to those parents who are dealing with that right now, who their kids are exhausted, they can't get them up in the morning, they won't go to sleep at night?
Patience and just understanding. They might be a little bit cranky. The little ones might need a little nap right when they come home from school, and just, a little snack, maybe a nap or two, and then probably they'll be ready to go to bed a little bit earlier because they came home tired.
Let's hope, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So what if you have a kindergartner or a child who is going to school for the first time? Any ways to get them prepared?
Well, I think our schools do a really nice job in Sioux Falls, and I'm sure around the area as well, preparing those first-time school attendees. They all have an open house, and I would encourage anybody to attend the open house for their particular school. Some of those have happened, like within the last week. Some will happen next week. They'll find out a lot of things. If the kindergartner has not had a chance to see his or her classroom yet, that's the time to do that. Sometimes they're even encouraged to bring their school supplies and put them where they'll keep them for that first day. It's just so that they can imagine what they'll be walking into that first day just makes them feel better. I would feel better if I knew what to expect.
Very true.
Yeah.
I like knowing what to
Yes,
expect.
exactly.
If a child is nervous or anxious about going back to school, what kind of recommendations would you have for the parent there?
You know, I think the parent just needs to be positive and just continually reassure that it's going to be okay. And pointing out all the fun things that they will be able to do and reminding them of fun experiences in the past. Maybe last year, if this is a return to school, maybe they were nervous at the beginning of the school year and everything turned out well. Just reminding them of those things. But the most important thing is that keep positive and reassuring all the time. Yeah.
We hear about some of the social impacts right now and, you know, the smartphone society.
Oh, sure.
What recommendations would you have for parents there if you have a child who, you know, doesn't want to go back to school, struggling kind of socially with that?
The social, I think letting the parent or letting the teacher know, if the parent can have that conversation with the teacher ahead of time and say, and just share some of those concerns. The faster our teachers can get to know our students and know them really well, the better their year will be. Our teachers work really hard to develop that relationship not only with the child but with the family as a whole, because we want that to be a close relationship, a close positive working relationship, so that if the parent at any time has a concern, it's easy to reach out to someone you already know, and vice versa. If the teacher has a concern, she wants to know that family well so that she can have a good, honest conversation.
Moving on to study habits now.
Yeah.
Growing up, my mom was always very good about it. As soon as we got home, we do our homework. You know, we're doing it, and it kind of set a good schedule and good work ethic with that. But then I always wonder, as a parent now, I'm a working parent, and sometimes when I want to see my kids first, I'm not like, oh, let's work, let's do this. And so what are your recommendations as far as study habits
That's
go?
going to vary from family to family. It might even vary day to day, because busy families have soccer or football practice or whatever, or maybe the younger children are going with parents as they go with older children's activities. So it does have to vary, and we have to be flexible with that. And teachers are flexible and understand that as well. So it's just important that, like you said, to spend time talking with the kids and finding out about their day and what did you do today that you're going to remember for a long time, or what kind thing did you do today? Those kinds of questions. We want to find that out from our kids. And then when they do need to sit down and do some homework, if they just have a place where they know that anything that they need will be there, they'll have they'll have their pencils or scissors or whatever they need to do their homework assignment, and it's in a kind of a consistent spot if possible. That's helpful. But as far as the time, it kind of just depends.
Any other advice you have for parents going into the school year?
Oh, it's such an exciting time. We met with new teachers just a few days ago, and I've been doing this for quite some time now, and every single year it's exciting. You get those little bit of butterflies in your stomach. Even the teachers do. So we're excited to have the kids come back. The teachers started back today. They're excited. They're getting their rooms ready. It's just, to us, this is our New Year's Day.
Yeah, I could see that.
Instead of January. Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us, and
good
luck this school year.
Thank you.
Well, what could the blueprint of South Dakota look like in the future? A group of architects is working to figure that out. That story is next on Inside KELOLAND. Welcome back. The American Institute of Architects South Dakota has launched a new blog to engage public discussion of community design and development issues in the state. Joining me now is Ellison Dvorak. She's a director of AIA, and an architect at TSP. Well, let's first talk about the American Institute of Architects.
Yeah, sure.
What exactly is that, Allison?
It's a group of architects that's kind of an association that goes to protect the rights and development and process of what architects do in their state and in their communities.
And you're a group of architects from all across South
All
Dakota.
across South Dakota for AIA South Dakota, but it's also a national company or a national group as well.
And you've created a new blog.
Yes. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that. Why
Yep.
did you decide to do that?
I'm the board liaison for our communications department, and we have our blog, our South Dakota board would like to have a little bit more outreach to our community members. And so the communications committee is trying to create a way or a venue for architects to reach out to the people in the communities that they're helping develop as they're working on projects. So we decided a blog might be a good venue to get individual voices for the architects in our communities across the state. So we're looking for more architects to contribute to our blogs, because we know all the architects in our AIA South Dakota have very, very distinct and different passions, and we'd like to focus on those.
Your blog is already getting a lot of
Yes,
attention.
it is.
And in this first blog post, another architect, Chase Kramer, wrote, South Dakota has a proud and sometimes peculiar architectural history. While the state has been shaped and is known for more of its natural features, in the last half century that has started to change. Tell me about that. What does he mean there?
Yep, we were just featured in the as 20 places or 20 buildings to visit in South Dakota in the U.S. Weekly, and then we also are starting to develop projects that are becoming more legacy projects that are lasting over 50 years, and so we're starting to see the development of those projects really shape our communities.
Why do you think that's important, that we not only have these natural features, but other things such as unique buildings and things like that?
I think it helps with tourism, bringing people into our communities and developing those, but it also creates a great place to live, work, and play. We're in architecture every single day. It's the built form. I don't know if we have any really just natural features anymore, because humankind has touched everything. So to be able to shape those in a sensitive way, I think is really important for our communities to develop well.
In a sensitive way, too, that reminds me of the blogger goes on to say, progress needs to be done responsibly. Our state has vast natural resources of which we should be protective. How do architects go about that?
We have a lot of sustainable kind of practices that each firm takes a little bit differently. There's different ways that we can develop projects, either through the LEED programs that the state requires for state buildings, but I am also a Passive House certified consultant, which is a different type of sustainable design that's really looking at protecting or lowering the heating and cooling of your house as you build by over-insulating. So there's all these different types of ways architects think about putting the building together and how that actually affects long-term use of the building.
I've heard about a few of these passive
Yep.
house projects recently,
Yep.
too.
SDSU has a program, and two of their professors are working on building a passive house there. So,
what do you hope to accomplish through this blog, would you say, overall?
I think my own personal hope for this project is that we are able to voice the architects that are working constantly in our communities and showcasing what their value is. A lot of architects are introverts, so they're not out in the public and making themselves known, but I think through this kind of blog we can showcase their expertise and really showcase their value in our communities.
And this isn't just a Sioux Falls project
No,
either.
it is statewide, and a lot of the issues might be centered around one city or another, but we're going to take that and then do a broad scope of how that affects the whole state.
Well, we're going to look at some of the ideas from Blueprint South Dakota when Inside KELOLAND continues. Building a downtown baseball stadium in Sioux Falls is a featured post this month on Blueprint South Dakota. Joining me again is Allison Dvorak. She's a director of AIA and an architect at TSP. Now, talking about this baseball stadium, architect Tom Holbert argues the economic spinoff from a downtown stadium can be the catalyst to drive property tax revenue, retail sales, and tourism dollars, not to mention create jobs. Yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
I think I'm not too much into the understanding of how he put that blog together, but I think it was a really great way to start off our blog, and how we've we had seen an issue in the past and kind of developed it through what we would think through as an architectural project, and kind of put some dreamy images out there that we could take a look at and kind of put a face to what we've been thinking about moving that downtown, especially with the Sioux Steel redevelopment happening now.
So yeah, these pictures here are interesting. It looks like a lot of entertainment and visual and everything like that makes a big difference in our social media society too,
absolutely,
doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's a lot of looking to see what could happen, and it's hard to imagine sometimes what something like that would look like without some renderings or some images to kind of flush out what could happen in that space or what that actually would look like.
We're seeing too in that one that showed kind of the bigger scheme of everything. That, there we go, this one is showing, you know, a mixed use, the hot trend word, where you have shops along with parking, and you have entertainment, and you have housing all in the same area. Why do you think this mixed use thing is so hot right now? Like, why include everything like that in one area?
Well, I think Sioux Falls is getting larger, and more people are coming downtown, and the downtown is really developing well, and we're kind of growing into that not quite Minneapolis type of scale, but that's kind of the direction we're looking at. So having all of that in one spot for people to come down and take a look at and be in one area and kind of have that plaza place where for people to kind of gather and be social with each other, I think is really important for a town.
Yes, at the end of this blog, he talked about that plaza space, kind of a Phillips Avenue plaza, pointed out that Rapid City already has an area like that.
Yeah, and
gathering spaces are a big deal right now,
yes,
right?
They are. And I was just recently out in Rapid City, and it was probably the first time I'd been out there for a while, and I saw that it was constantly full of people. People were engaging with people, and just the communication and seeing that happen was really great.
And then we'll move on to the campus at Augustana University. We just got some video from this recently. It's now home to the first pedestrian scramble crossing in Sioux Falls. You can see it right here. So now when someone wants to cross the street at 33rd and Grange, they can do so in any direction, including diagonally. New crosswalk lines have been painted, and the pedestrian signals have been reprogrammed to make it happen. When a student or local resident hits a button, all of the traffic signals turn to red and the person can cross safely. The idea is a partnership between Augie and the city of Sioux Falls. And you also have a post that says you want to promote this vibrant pedestrian life in our city in all of South Dakota.
Yeah. It would be pretty great to see more pedestrian crosswalks. Even trying something like this would be really great, just to see how it works with our city, and then if we can implement it in other ways in other areas, that would be great.
As the business reporter here, I hear a lot about walkability and how walkability is important to be able to walk from one store to another store.
Yeah, it's a different mindset, because when you travel, you go to Washington, D.C. or Portland, you walk the whole time, and then you come back here and it's more about your car and how you drive to get places. And anytime I travel, I don't really care if I have to park in front of a store that I'm going to. I can walk 2 blocks, 10 blocks, that's fine. So I think putting that walkability into how we're designing our cities and how those landscapes kind of work together is really important for our community going forward.
Do you think this is a long-term trend, this walkability, or do you think sometime again we'll want, you know, a fast-moving street down the middle of downtown Sioux Falls?
I think it's a balance between the two. It depends on how the roads are constructed. There's some roads that need to be faster to get traffic moving, but I think there's some areas that we can really slow down traffic and allow for pedestrians to make those moves through.
Thank you so much for joining us, Allison. Well, an event is coming up to raise money for the Parkinson Foundation. We'll tell you how you can be involved ahead on Inside KELOLAND. Welcome back to Inside KELOLAND. Janie Case, the Executive Director of the South Dakota Parkinson Foundation, joins us now to talk about the Step Big Walk for Parkinson's. Is coming up next weekend, and tell me a little bit about the event, Janie.
Yeah, so our Step Big Walk for Parkinson's it's a walk event, as in the title, but it's kind of unique and fun because it's out at the Canaries baseball stadium, so something different that we do where we bring friends and family, healthcare professionals out to gather and do a little fun walk around the Canaries baseball stadium where it is a fundraiser, and then the proceeds go to support the South Dakota Parkinson Foundation. So it's our main and largest fundraiser that we do throughout the year.
So the money goes to the foundation. Where does that money go? And I know a lot of people ask that with organizations. Where exactly does that money go then?
Yeah, they do. And that's a valid question and an important one to address. We are an independent foundation, which means that we are not part of a national, so we don't receive funding from any national organization or foundation. And so we're independent, and so all funds that we receive throughout the year stay within the state of South Dakota. We cover the entire state of South Dakota, and so we support different programs and services, looking at education. What can we do to improve quality of life for those affected by Parkinson's disease?
So for those who are interested, tell me when and where it is, and what they should know before coming.
All the details.
Yes, all the details.
Yes. So it's Saturday, August 25th at the Canaries Baseball Stadium. Our registration opens at 9. You're welcome to come the day of, too. We encourage that. And then the walk will start at 10, and you can do it. So you walk inside the baseball field, and if you cannot walk, you can still participate because you can sit in the stands. So it's kind of fun there where you can still participate with it. And then you can walk around either so many times to equal 1.5 miles or 3 miles. We have it kind of marked for that. And then we have a lunch afterwards. We have a kids area, so it's a fun thing to do with your entire family or bring out a group of friends, co-workers, all to support those affected by Parkinson's.
So why support this? Why is Parkinson's, in your words, why is it important to support Parkinson's?
Absolutely. We have a great community within the Parkinson's community, and it's a disease that there's no cure for, and so our mission is really to look at quality of life and what can we do not just for the person affected by Parkinson's, but we look at the entire family and how can we support them. And so we want to be able to provide different programs and services. Education is key. There's always new medications. There's new health benefits, nutrition benefits, and so we want to keep people current on that to help them, again, with that quality of life.
How many people out there suffer from Parkinson's?
So there's 1 million Americans, and it says that there's around 70,000 diagnosed annually.
Wow.
South Dakota is one of the states with the highest prevalence of Parkinson's disease, just due to the fact that we are a rural state. So you see that South Dakota, North Dakota, Iowa, those states have higher Parkinson's disease that it affects.
That's interesting. Why do rural states tend to have higher incidence of Parkinson's?
They're looking at all different causes of Parkinson's. There's not one. They look at genetics, whether or not it's hereditary, but they also look at things such as pesticides. So you see a lot of the farming communities and how that can play a role in it as well.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us. Well, you can find out more about today's topics online at KELOLAND.com. Just click on the Inside KELOLAND section. Now join us every Sunday following the 10 o'clock news right here on KELO TV. That's all the time we have for today. Be sure to join us again next week for more on what's going on inside KELOLAND.